James here from Guitarist.com, and I've been teaching guitar for a while now. I've had this channel going for over 10 years, and I've received an absolute ton of questions when it comes to learning guitar. So today I would like to answer the 21 most common questions that people have when it comes to getting started, moving forward, and succeeding on guitar. Real quick before we begin, if you want a guide that's going to help you improve on guitar, I have a free ebook. It's free for all my subscribers. I'll put a link down below. And while you're down there, if you could take a moment to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button, I'd really appreciate that. Now, moving on to our questions, I've organized this into 5 categories: getting started, chords and playing songs, strumming and rhythm, going beyond chords and strumming, and mindset and motivation. And we have a lot to go through here, so we're just gonna bang these out. If you want me to elaborate on anything, please let me know in the comments down below. And with that said, let's jump right into our first category: getting started. Question number 1, what kind of guitar should I buy? Acoustic or electric? And you can buy either one. You're gonna be able to learn successfully and do whatever you want with either an acoustic or an electric. But generally, if you just want to strum some chords by the campfire, nothing beats an acoustic guitar. It's self-amplifying. It's going to get the job done, And if you want to rock out, play lead guitar, you're probably going to want to go with an electric. I would just take a look at what kind of music you enjoy and see what kind of guitars those people use. Whatever your idol plays, that's probably the kind of guitar that you should have. Question number 2, do I need to learn music theory to play guitar? No, you don't. But ultimately, you will end up learning bits and pieces of it, no matter how hard you try to avoid it, And a lot of it, it's like grade 2 math. It's not that difficult. Once you figure out the fundamentals, it really amplifies what you can do on guitar. So you don't need to learn it, but it definitely helps, and it's not as difficult as you might think. Question number 3, how often should I practice and for how long? When you're just getting started, I recommend practicing 10 to 15 minutes a day, maybe 6 days a week. It's always good to take a day off. And if you do that, you're guaranteed results. The more you play guitar, the better you'll get, the more you'll want to practice. You'll get carried away and just keep going. If you're an intermediate player, you could probably do 30 to 60 minutes a day. To get super good, you got to do about 2 hours a day. But it's all about being consistent. I would rather have my students practice 15 minutes a day than wait until Sunday and then practice like 4 hours in a row. You're gonna see way more results if you do a little bit every day. Question number 4, are my fingers supposed to hurt? The short answer for that, yes. At first, when you're just getting started, your fingertips will hurt from pressing the strings, but over time, that pain will go away. Now, if you don't learn how to hold the guitar properly, if you keep your wrist in an awkward position where it's kind of bent because your guitar is sloping downwards, you can develop some long-term pain and some long-term issues. And if you're worried about that, I have a free crash course on my website at goodguitarist.com that covers everything that you need to build a solid foundation. It even comes with a free workbook that, we'll email to you. So check that out if you want to start the right way, learn some songs and get everything going so you have that good foundation. Question 5, can I learn guitar even if I'm too old? And this is an easy one. Of course you can. I've had students start literally at age 80, and they were able to reach the point where they could play songs and get a lot out of guitar. And to be honest, when you teach like a 12-year-old kid, a lot of the time they haven't listened to a ton of music. They're not really that inspired to play. Maybe they're doing it because their mom is making them go to lessons. But I find when I teach somebody who's maybe about to retire, in that kind of range, this is their dream and they're so focused and they know exactly what they want to do, and they're a lot more fun to teach, to be completely honest. So you're gonna have a fine time. So that wraps up that section. Now we're gonna move on to some questions related to learning chords and playing songs. Question number 6, why do my chords sound buzzy or muted? And I have a 4-step system that I outline in all my beginner resources. Long story short, when you're playing your chord shapes, you want to make sure that your fingers are pressing close to the fret. If you're far from the fret, you get the buzz. You're going to want to arch your fingers, nice and curled, so you're using the tips. You want to make sure your thumb is in a good spot so you get more leverage, you get more strength for free. And if all else fails, just press down just enough, not too much, not too little. You can check out, I have some free resources down below if you're having trouble with this. I'll point you in the right direction. Now, question 7, how do I switch chords faster? So when you're playing a single chord, like I was just demonstrating, you can take all the time in the world to go through those steps and make it sound good. But when you're actually playing songs, you have to switch into the next chord and have it sound good right away. And to get there, I have 2 things that I would do. First, silent switching. So you just switch between the chord shapes without actually strumming it, just to kind of get your fingers moving in the right place. You can even think like what order you're going to put your fingers down. And you be consistent and you build up that muscle memory. And then from there, we do the chord switching game, which is a simple exercise that adds rhythm. We're just using downstrokes only, and it helps you get your chord switch faster incrementally. And if you're interested in trying that, like I said, I have a free crash course where we do all this stuff and we work on all these basic skills. So, just go to my website. It's right there at the top. No sign up or anything. Now, question 8. What are the easiest songs to learn as a beginner? Honestly, I have spent countless hours finding the easiest songs for you to learn. So I'm just going to give you the answers. There's a tool on my website called the Song Finder, and you can just filter my YouTube lessons by difficulty. Click Absolute Beginner. You'll find a bunch of songs. Born in the USA by Bruce Springsteen, Songbird by Oasis, Anyone Else But You by the Moldy Peaches. Those are probably like the 3 easiest ones, but there's a whole bunch there. And if you're beyond that, you want to learn 3-chord songs, 4-chord songs, more difficult songs, you can just filter through everything with the Song Finder tool. It's an awesome thing developed just to help people find the exact song for their level. So please check that out. There's just goodguitarist.com and click songs in the top menu. Question 9, do I need to memorize all the chord shapes? No, you don't. And honestly, I think that's the worst way to learn. Every chord has to be incorporated into your muscle memory. So when you're doing G and C, that's easy. You switch from G to C and from C to G. Then you add a D chord. Now you have to switch from G to D, G to C, C back to G, C to D, D, and you have to do quite a few more combinations. You add a 4th chord and it goes up even more, right? I think there's 10 basic chord shapes. So 10 factorial, like 10 with an exclamation mark after it. I think that's every possible switch with just the 10 basic chord shapes. So the best way to do it is to take a song you want to learn and learn the switches just for that song, and then move on to another similar song that maybe has the same chords but one more. Question 10. Why do bar chords seem impossible? Once you're comfortable with open chords, bar chords can feel like a whole new level. You're using your index finger to press down multiple strings while your other fingers have to make the shape, and you don't really work out your pinky finger that much, so it's not doing its job, and honestly, if you just try to do bar chords, it can be tough. But there's a certain method that I have. It's here on YouTube. I'll put some links down below. There's gonna be lots of links down below to help you with all these questions. But we start with power chords, which it's like literally the first shape that I ever learned on guitar. And you just kind of move it around, and that's at the bottom of the bar chord. And then you can build your way into it. So if you do it the right way, it's actually not that bad, but you do need to work on it a bit instead of just trying it, forcing it, and hoping it works out. So that's it when it comes to chords and songs. Next, we're going to take a look at strumming and rhythm. Question 11, how do I strum without sounding sloppy? And I think the problem here is usually because people try to learn strumming patterns right away, and they're focusing on the downstrokes and the upstrokes and all that, instead of having a steady rhythm with a really simple strumming pattern. For instance, all downstrokes, just going like 1, 2, 3, 4. And you can do that on your own. You could do that with a metronome, or you could do that with some real songs and just play downstrokes with some songs. And sometimes you can like double it up and go a little bit faster, and you just have to try to line yourself up with the song. That's the skill that you need to get. And the best way is just mute the strings and just do that. That'll clean up so many strumming issues. Question number 12, how do I stay in time and avoid speeding up or slowing down? You can do the thing that I just talked about, just downstrokes along with the song, but then you'll want to use a metronome. And the key thing is to really listen to the metronome. Listen to the metronome instead of listening to yourself. I know that sounds almost too simple, but we tend to get in our own heads and focus on what we're doing on guitar. We start thinking about the sounds, thinking about all these other things. You just want to keep going back to, I'm listening to the metronome, I'm tapping my foot with it, and you can still keep the strumming super simple, That's the ultimate way. Question 13, how do I know whether to use downstrokes or upstrokes? Now, the formula here, or the rule of strumming, is quite simple. You count 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and downstrokes on the numbers, upstrokes on the ands. You move your arm with that. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then you just skip some strokes, but you keep your arm moving. That's the key. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and my arm's still going down and up the whole time, but I'm just making contact in certain areas. There, I just played the most common strumming pattern ever to demonstrate this, but you can build virtually any strumming pattern this way. Question 14, how do I know which strumming pattern to use in a song? And the easiest way is to just watch one of my lessons, but more generally, if you want to get this skill yourself, songs don't have a correct pattern. They have a groove, and you can express that groove in many ways. So there is no strumming pattern particularly for that song. Even if you hear an acoustic guitar on the song, the pattern's going to change throughout the song, but it'll still feel a certain way. I actually explored this concept in a lesson where we took a look at Knockin' on Heaven's Door by Bob Dylan, and we discussed this in depth. So if you want to see how we go through that process of capturing that groove, I recommend checking that out. Otherwise, we're going to move on to our next category, which is going beyond chords and strumming. Question 15, what's the best way to start fingerpicking? And it's quite simple. You just take a song that you already know how to strum. You're already good at the chords and everything, and you just turn it into a fingerpicking tune. You start with like a simple up and down fingerpicking pattern, or even just going up, like thumb, index, middle, ring, or like up and down. And you just get your fingers used to moving, and then you take it from there. I'll link up some easy fingerstyle tunes below if you want to try that. Now, question 16, how do I read tab? And do I even need to? Yes, I do think you should learn tab. It's super simple, and it's going to help you just kind of look something up online and be able to figure out where the notes are right away. Each of the lines represents your strings, and the numbers represent your frets. So you look at the line, that's your string, and it says 6, you count up to the 6th fret. I have a video that teaches you how to read tab in literally 5 minutes. That's all it takes. So I'll put a link to that down below if you want to pursue that. Maybe you're learning some electric guitar. That's going to be invaluable. Question 17. What is a scale and why should I learn them? A scale is just a group of notes that go together. That's all there is to it. From the scale, you can figure out what chords are going to sound good, what melody notes are going to be correct. You can even figure out what melody notes aren't in the scale, and you can use those to add insane amounts of tension. We don't have to play within the scale. The scale just provides us with the information of these are the notes that are gonna sound good together in the same section of a song. The theory behind this stuff isn't too difficult. If you want to dive deeper, I have a lesson here on YouTube where we discuss everything that I just mentioned, scales, chords, etc., and I show you how it all goes together in 15 minutes. It is a lot simpler than some people make it out to be. Question 18. How do I start improvising or soloing? A lot of people put soloing on a pedestal and they tell themselves, I gotta learn all these scales, I have to do all these exercises, I have to work on all these things first before I can take a guitar solo. I know that because I was one of those people. I spent 6 months preparing to take a solo. And then when I tried to take a solo, it sucked because I wasn't doing the things that you're supposed to do, which is taking just a couple notes and being musical. For instance, you could play your entire minor pentatonic scale, or you could just focus on the top 2 strings and try to make some music with just a couple notes, Something to think about here that one of my friends told me when I was really beginning my guitar journey was you can make a better solo with a single note and really good rhythm than you could by just playing all the notes in the scale but with poor rhythm. So just being focusing on the rhythm and just using a few notes, keeping it simple, loading up a backing track, exploring. That's the best way to get into it. Now, our final category has to do with the learner's mindset and keeping that motivation going. Question 19 is, how long will it take me to get good? And that's kind of a complicated question because it depends on your goal. One of my friends, he just figured out how to strum and sing, right? So he can just load up whatever song on his tablet, show up at a party, he can strum some basic chords, sing songs, and he is ecstatic with where he's at with guitar. He has no desire to improve or go any further because he's getting everything he needs out of it. And I have another friend who plays like 300 gigs a year, basically plays every night, sometimes twice a night. And when you go talk to him, he's not stoked about where he's at with guitar. And it's weird because if you ask anybody who the best player they know is, they'll usually drop his name. But, he just looks at his idols and he still realizes how much more he has to go. Maybe he overthinks it. I don't know. But good is a relative term here, so you just take a look at your goals and just be happy with consistent, steady progress from practicing just a little bit every day. Question 20, what's the best way to stay motivated? And the answer to that is to tie music into your life. Instead of just practicing guitar, try to create some moments where you're using guitar to do something for yourself. And it doesn't have to be going to an open mic or going to a jam session, although those are awesome ways to make it a part of your life. It becomes a part of your social life and so on. But you can just, make it a goal of yours to load up, take your cell phone, hit the voice memo program, and just record yourself playing some chords and then listen back to it and, sing over it, take a solo over it, play the melody over it. It's all about finding little things, maybe just playing a song for your friend or for your wife in the living room, and something that I do is I provide people with that. That's what my channel, my membership, my private community, that's what it's all about, is helping you to stay motivated and succeed on guitar by having more than just exercises, Question 21, is it okay to just watch YouTube or should I take lessons? YouTube is great, and obviously I'm biased here, I run a YouTube channel, but if I were to critique it, YouTube's not structured. You have the algorithm putting all those videos beside the lesson you're taking, and maybe those are some really entertaining videos that aren't going to teach you anything about guitar, but they'll catch your attention and you'll go do that instead. And to help to solve that problem, that's why I built my premium membership, to give you a step-by-step path without distractions. You still get to have a lot of fun learning songs, but you also get the structure. You also get the direct help from me. I'm going to put a link down below if you want to check that out. Otherwise, I hope you enjoyed this and that you learned something from it. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions or if I missed anything. Have a fun time practicing, and I'll see you soon.